man. You're so crazy. Am I pass it over here? All right. You let me know when you're ready. Grip, you ready? All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. As we shared on March 6th in the rain with the Mayor Parker, you know, how vigilant we're going to bring in the suspects who shot 8 children on that day, and we're so fortunate that all of those kids made it through. We said we would not stop to get everyone that was involved. And through the investigation and the hard work of our shooting investigation group under the leadership of Commissioner Venor, we've been able to identify now a fifth suspect in this case. We'll talk about, Commissioner Venor will also talk about our efforts underway to find the shooting, the 5 individuals shot on March 4th on Ogons Avenue, and the efforts are still continue underway and some of the links we're seeing in that case. So I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Venor. We again want to thank you for all of your support in getting the information out and be able to share with you the efforts we have underway in both of these shootings.
All right, good afternoon. As you know from the incident on March 6th that happened 7300 Rising Sun, we've made 4 arrests before today. The arrest included Jameel Tucker, 18, Nellie Buggs, 18, Jamad Carter, 19, and Nasir Boone, 17, who's still in Virginia. He's scheduled to be brought here tomorrow and charged and with all the same charges as the other defendants. It's an attempted murder charge, 8 counts of aggravated assault, conspiracy, and all related gun charges and other offenses. So our investigation, as we said, would not stop. We were going to look to see if anyone else was culpable, especially in that incident, and also what other cases that happened previous to this incident could have been connected. As part of our investigation, we analyzed a lot of evidence. We looked at a lot of video. We discovered additional evidence that linked another 15-year-old individual to this case. Now, I'm going to tell you that this individual was on location. He was inside the Dunkin' Donuts previous to the shooting in communication. We now have evidence that he was in communication with the people inside that car, which are the 4 individuals that we have previously charged. During those communications, he identified some people for them. He described them and sent pictures to them while they were inside the car, and the communication went back and forth. He even says at one point, "I'm wearing this type of clothing, don't cook me." And then at the point where they were leaving the Dunkin' Donuts to walk to the bus stop, he types the word "go." And that's when you see on the video the individuals, the 3 individuals exit the car and walk towards the bus stop and commit the shooting. This individual is seen on the video and then walks away. So based on our investigation, we now today arrested Jeremiah Jefferson, 15-year-old male. He lives in the Northeast on Robin Street. He is charged with all the same charges as the first 4 individuals: attempted murder, aggravated assault, 8 counts, criminal conspiracy, violation of Uniform Firearms Act charges, several charges there, possession of instrument of crime, simple assault, and recklessly endangering another person. He's here in the building, and he'll be charged soon with those charges as we move forward. We are not done. We are still looking back, as the Commissioner said, on several other incidents that we now believe could be connected to this shooting that happened on March 6th. Some of them are homicides, and some of them are non-fatal shootings. One particularly happens 2 days before this at 6200 Ogon. So you know we sent out some images of a sweatshirt, very distinct, that we believe somebody has seen before on that individual, some images of the individual. We still need help on that case to bring charges on somebody. So we're urging the public, if you know anything about that case, to call us at our tip line, 686-TIPS-8477. Through all the other evidence that we've now been looking at in the other cases so far, and there's a lot to go, there was a homicide that occurred on 2/15, which is February 15th, 9/12 in the evening at 5800 block of Rising Sun Avenue. In that case, 20-year-old male by the name of Christopher Downing was shot multiple times and found on the highway by officers. He was pronounced a short time later at Temple Hospital. That individual, that evidence at that scene and other evidence that we collected in this case allowed us to charge one of the previous defendants in Nellie Bugs with murder in that case. Now, we have a warrant. He's in custody. He'll be brought here tomorrow, and he'll be charged with homicide in that case. But we're not done. We have a lot more evidence to go through. We're working with the DA's office to go through that evidence. So there are other incidents we believe are connected. We have other evidence that other people that might be linked to these people. So we're working. We also are still asking that if you know anything about these individuals or these cases, to call us either at our shooting investigation group, homicide, or our tip line at 686-TIPS. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to the First Assistant District Attorney, Bob Lissenby. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As the Deputy Commissioner indicated, my name is Bob Listenby. I'm the First Assistant District Attorney here in Philadelphia County. I'm here on behalf of District Attorney Larry Krasner. First of all, I'd like to thank our partners who have done an outstanding job in investigating all the cases that have been listed here before, specifically the Northeast High School shootings that took place and the shootings that took place in the area of Imhotep Charter High School. I'd also like to thank specifically again PPD Commissioner Bethel here with his team. I'd like to thank Mayor Sherelle Parker and her administration. I'd like to thank Sheriff Rochelle Bilal and the Sheriff's Department and their team. In addition, there are a number of other agencies involved, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and ATF. I want to commend the work of victim advocates whose work at the Philadelphia Police Department and District Attorney's Office has been critical to help victims, families, friends, relatives, and the entire Philadelphia community deal with the trauma caused by these shootings. No matter where you go in the city, you hear young people talking about the fear they're experiencing as they go to and from school, getting on and off school buses and SEPTA buses because of this specific recent round of shootings. The folks who are victim advocates and other kinds of specialists throughout the city have had a real challenging job trying to help our young people deal with these kinds of circumstances and situations. Finally, I want everyone to know this. The District Attorney's Office is going to vigorously prosecute these cases. The cases have been turned over to the Gun Violence Task Force within the District Attorney's Office. They're already working on the cases diligently, and they will be followed very closely by the DA himself. I have Assistant District Attorney Joseph Lanuti here from the Gun Violence Task Force if there's specific questions about the investigation that I might not be able to handle. But once again, our partners have been outstanding here. They've done tremendous work, and they've done it quickly. All praise goes to them and the work that they've done and the work we've done, along with our chief of our homicide unit, Joanne Pescator, who've been working with him around the clock, 6 and 7 days a week, night and day, to try and bring these young people to justice. Thank you.
Any questions? Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to get into those level of detail at this point. That will come out at a later time. The motive? And we still have not determined the motive at this point. I mean, we do not know at this point what the motive is amongst the two parties.
As we said, we believe some of these are connected. You know, there's some kind of two neighborhood groups that seem to be going back and forth. Some of the shootings were spread apart in the beginning. Those two were actually 2 days apart. We do believe they're connected. We don't have the exact motive of why those targets were picked. We just don't. But we're looking at that, and we're just getting started with this. We're not in any way done with this investigation. So we're going to get to the bottom of Ogans, and maybe that'll give us more answers. But we need to get enough to charge somebody in that case. I'm not going to give an exact amount, but there's several that we think are connected.
And I do want to assure you, you know, though we brought the case in the second job of the 8 children shot in first, we're working diligently for the individuals who were shot and killed on the Ogans. I mean, clearly there was different dynamics with that job because we had video and car and other things that were able to lead us in that investigation. but let the MOTEP community and those in that Old Guys community understand we're working just as diligently and working hard to bring those individuals into custody who did that offense on that Monday.
Are there there's still two victims in the hospital still?
I'm not sure of how many are still, at least two.
They're
but
both
that's
in good condition.
good condition, but yes, we still have, from what I'm understanding, two. All right.
Real quick, for families watching this tonight, any message to them? I know you've been constantly working to try to find businesses to keep them together. Any message you want to get across to them tonight about just trying to get their kids to school safe?
Well, listen, I mean, we understand the challenges. I will always continue to tell you, despite those occurrences on that week, that school is the safest place for our kids to be. Now, I know that's a challenge when you have 11 children shot in a week. But I would also continue to tell parents that inside those school settings, inside those walls of the schools, continue to be the safest place for them to be. We have to do a better job now with the expanded role that these shootings are taking, particularly along our corridors. We'll be working on a deployment strategy to help support the schools along those corridors as our kids get out. That'll be announced in our 100-day plan. But I understand their fear, right? And so we're going to be working hard to be able to address those fears, working with our partnership with SEPTA to try our best to cover those corridors and cover those young people. But we're also sending a message today, that our young people or anybody out there who decides that they want to engage in this type of behavior, that we're going to come after you. And here, as Mr. Lissaby indicated, our partners working with ATF, the marshals, FBI, the DA's office, the gun violence task force, all the list goes on and on. This was a collective effort. And so I also want them to know that when they do engage in this activity, we're going to come after you and we're going to get you. And this is a clear example of the posture we're going to have and we've always had, but we're going to continue in our work in the city. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Lissaby? Always a pleasure. Nice meeting you, man. Okay, sir. All right. You guys going out that way? Is the back way out or what? Huh? Oh, right here. Okay, this way. That way, this way.